title for our presentation today is HACCP for Shelf-Stable Foods, and I've been interviewed many times for different for different television and shows, and one reporter was asking me one time, when somebody's picking up your food and opening it up, how do they know that it's safe? How do they know that the product that you put in there was safe? And trying to come up with an intelligent answer, I said this: smells just like when we put it in there, which I regretted it when it came out of my mouth, but that's been my byline from since then, was I have to own that statement. So when we're making shelf-stable foods, this is actually the indicator that the product is safe when it gets to the consumer. And we use a HACCP plan to ensure that the product is safe through our production system. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about the HACCP plan, but there are the 7 basic HACCP steps that you have to put your plan in place. First one is you look at your process and you identify the hazard points in your process. That's the principle number 1. For those particular HACCP points, you identify the critical control points that you want to control. Then you establish the critical limits of these points. Fourth principle, you then establish a monitoring system so that you can measure these limits and make sure that you're in compliance. Then you establish a corrective action plan if your process does not hit the limits. And sometimes those corrective action plans are just, you throw the product away, but there may be other ways you can correct the problem and continue to produce the product. Then you need to verify your plan. You do this by monitoring your plan, by having people check if the plan is working, and you keep the records. But we're really going to talk about how do you establish the limits of your HACCP plan. There are 2 points or 2 parts of establishing limits. One, they have to be specific. You have to have very specific limits. And number 2, it needs to be validated. This validation is something that the FSIS is now focusing on. There's a lot of pressure for them to start making sure that these HACCP plans are validated. When HACCP was first introduced, there wasn't a lot of information out in the industry or even in academia to validate your plan, especially from a biological standpoint. So there has been a lot of work in the last 20 years of challenge studies and reports from the universities and other technical resources to show validation of certain different processing processes of whatever your system would be, whether it is whatever type of cooking or whatever type of process. The 2 distinct elements of this validation have been the creation of scientific and technical support, and then also the other part is just in-plant demonstration. Your history has showed that your process actually works. The validation system, this is coming from the FSIS compliance guidelines. They've published this in 2013, and it's an excellent resource for validation. So I would